Hello, my name is Heeresgruppe, and today we're gonna play Unity of Command 2 Barbarossa DLC Heeresgruppe Nord mission. 3, 2, 1. Alright, so this is one of the smaller missions in the entire DLC, definitely the smallest of the first ones. But interestingly, I've chosen it today because I'd like to talk about changes in the missions since the release of the DLC, because this is actually one of the missions that, as of May 2021, actually has seen some change. And, well, as we're starting with the mission, let me just point out that as quite often as typical to Unity of Command 2, Unity of Command in general, your success in missions is very, generally is conditional to taking over enemy supply, on preventing the enemy from getting supplied. And this is very much a game like that. So even though it's not a game like that, a mission like that, so even though Shaolai is not an official quote-unquote objective, it's critical to this mission. So effectively, the only place where the Soviets are being supplied, the only railway that the Soviets are being supplied from is, or through which, is between Riga and Shaolai. If you cut that railway, you're effectively winning the mission, because in most of the map, except for the other bank of the Daugava River, it's gonna be red for the Soviets. So previously, in the on-release version of this mission, actually I played it first pre-release also, so that may have been better on release. The Soviets also got supply from Kaunas, from the area around Kaunas. There's a railway going, well, outside the bounds of the mission. So, and there used to be a source of supply as well. Now there isn't. So they've actually simplified the mission, because it used to be rather difficult to actually cut the supply of the Soviets. Even though Shaolai was still a critical objective, you had to take it, you had to cut that supply, but it wasn't as strong as, well, you might have liked it to be. Right now, Shaolai is even more critical, because if you take it on, taking turn 1 is impossible, but turn 2 is absolutely required. It's the earliest when you can actually take it, because otherwise, if your Shaolai is not yours on turn 2, yeah, you're probably very unlikely to get the Yekapos and Dagapos crossings. It's just not gonna happen. You're not gonna have enough time. The Soviets are going to be too strong, especially on high difficulty levels, as in this case is hard. And as you can see, so this is turn 2. I'm gradually advancing towards Kaunas. It's not a difficult objective by any means. Make sure you just bring at least one infantry unit with artillery, equipped with artillery, so that you can bombard them or do something. Because artillery is not just for those abilities; it gives you huge attack bonuses as well. And so here I'm trying to break through. Don't forget to use your infantry as much as possible. Infantry should die and kill for you, not the tanks. And so Shaolai is mine, and so the Soviets are screwed. So pretty much all of this bank of the River Daugava is, well, pretty much out of supply for the Soviets, and this is turning into a big mop-up operation. So as you can see, I'd like to point out the position of my tanks rushing towards Daugavpils, because that's the most difficult objective in this entire mission. Right, so I wanted to say in this entire game, but no, it's in this entire mission. You really have to rush it, starting turn 2, and then hopefully, obviously, oversupply is your big friend once again, as usual. Even though actually one of those tanks did not get an oversupply and made a mistake, and I think I will return it. So that's the PZ-38, the Czech tank. Actually, it will go to Daugavpils crossing. It's critical there. It's strong enough for that, as you will see, and well, it's got the oversupply and will be able to survive there for some time. Even though I actually ended this mission early without destroying all of the Soviets, I just couldn't be asked to deal with the supply problems. All right, let's see what happens on turn 3. Well, on turn 3, I'll try to take Kaunas. And unfortunately, my artillery guys, I made another mistake there, so the Soviets managed to cut my supply line for the infantry units approaching Kaunas. but I had the infantry, and I had access from the HQ, so it wasn't a problem. So, and interestingly, I was able to use the set piece attack. You can set piece attack across rivers. Interesting. I was convinced that you couldn't. Oh, you can't do feint attacks across rivers. Yes. So set piece attacks. If you don't use them too much, I highly recommend you to look into them, and not because of like, okay, you deal lots of suppression damage and don't sustain any losses yourself. The biggest advantage of set piece attacks in this DLC is the fact that it provides you with a high chance of forcing the defending unit to retreat. It's very useful in many cases. There are indeed certain objectives, like turn 1 or turn 2 objectives, where you just need to get rid of that unit, force it to retreat, because you don't have the time to destroy it properly, and it's entrenched or something. And so, as you can see, I'm moving my troops. I think in this actual playthrough, I probably was a bit too slow with my supply lines. I think I should have probably removed that supply hub even earlier during my previous turn, because I really didn't need it there. Or at least reduced its size, so that on turn 3 we're already able to place that supply hub on halfway to Daugavpils Crossing. But at this point, it's I just advancing with my tanks. I've got 2 motorized mechanized units rushing towards the Daugava and Daugavpils and Jekabpils crossings. You absolutely need a strong unit to defend that Daugavpils crossing. Okay, Liepaja is not a big deal, because, well, they're out of supply pretty much since turn 1. They're dead, and here I'm just mopping up. I'm just using this opportunity to collect experience. Never forget that you don't have to attack an enemy properly to get experience. Like feint attacks, set piece attacks, all of that gives you experience as well. Don't forget about that. That sometimes is useful, especially on hard, when it's, your chances of not like coming out of a battle without or a combat without any losses is pretty low, and you just sometimes really don't want to lose those elite units, which are have 2 or 3 steps left. And so I'm gradually mopping up the map, and so it's critical in Daugavpils Crossing, because the Soviets will get huge reinforcements, and most likely, if you send your motorized division there, they will probably, especially on hard, they will probably be very, very tempted to attack it and kill it. So the Soviets, as far as I remember, they got 3 mobile divisions, like mechanized corps and cavalry divisions. So you really need a proper tank unit, preferably with specialist steps, which you probably will. This is the beginning of the entire campaign. You have plenty of those, and so and plenty of prestige as well. So it's absolutely required that you place a tank, and we'll see now what the Soviets plop. So let's look. Oh, come on. Load. The transitions between the turns of the 2 players at 4 divisions. So the Soviets have got quite a lot of strength, but my tank is way too strong for them to. They're too chicken. It's not gonna happen. And so gradually I'm advancing towards Riga. That's pretty much the last objective, and we're about to end this mission, because the Soviets are not going to do anything serious. I've taken Jekabpils Crossing. You don't have to hold it, as far as I remember. And with Riga, it was slightly difficult, because my air attacks did not succeed. I lost some motorized, a motorized step. But luckily, I have enough motorized units to actually take over that hex. And this is pretty much it. So right now, I'm just mopping everything up and not doing anything useful anymore. So I'm guessing this is it for today. This has been another short one. I promise that next time it'll be a long one. Thank you. Cheers.
Long one. That's what she said.